going to start streaming. They get an
Great.
extra 4 minutes out of us because we're stopping at 10. No. 10:05.
Yeah. 9
Yep.
p.m. to who knows when? 9:05.
All right, I think we're live. I think.
Looks like we are. I'm getting an ad.
Woot woot. Yeah, you watched that ad.
I have to. It's making me. Oh, it's making me watch
Good.
another one.
Watch 5.
Awesome. It looks like it's working. Great.
Woot.
So I have a little secret project that I'm doing, and on Monday, you should let me borrow the Kill Team book.
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna make a kill team.
Fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me guess. It's
But I
gonna
wanna-
be Space Marines.
Yes, it's gonna be space. And because I'm working on putting together the stuff now. For the past 2 days I've actually been doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and but now once I'm getting to the options, I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know which ones I want
Yeah,
to
you
choose
need
yet.
the book.
So I want to read the book. Know what I'm doing, and then pick the options, and then hopefully I don't make a horrible
Yeah,
mistake.
there's a lot of options.
Or I should magnetize everything, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Magnetize every
I'm
single
starting to
option.
sour on magnetizing. It was really cool, but I feel like I've lost everything I've ever magnetized. Or I just never did it. Like, I'll magnetize, but only make the plasma guns.
Yeah.
And so I just have every flamer that any boxes ever came with. But
Yeah.
and then it becomes like a project.
I
I want to make a list with flamers, so I need to go to my bits bin and spend a day cleaning them up and putting the magnets in and painting them and whatever. I'll just take plasma guns. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Exactly.
for like a very organized person though, it's the bomb. And like for Kill Team, it sounds like exactly what you need to do. Void 16.
Yeah.
Hello. Good evening. Get out of here.
Hi.
Leave. No, I am just kidding. Tonight I will be finishing the Salamanders, but probably not.
Yeah, let's just start lying now.
I thought we were always
Yeah.
lying. Are we gonna?
Well, that's true. I've never told
No,
the truth in my
never.
whole life. I would never do such a thing.
Yeah, Kill Team was
Yeah,
awesome.
I started a
spreadsheet.
yeah Kill Team's great. I was working on this was like a long time ago. This must have been in 2017. I was gonna magnetize all my knobs for every single one of their options.
Oh my god.
And because they're kind of expensive,
Yeah.
so it kind of makes sense, but it becomes a completely other project, like just a lot of
Yeah.
work, and so there's really no point in doing it.
I would say
I'm not gonna have fun.
Zerg619. Good to see you. I'm glad.
Hello, mate. I just
our
finished.
videos helped.
Wow, I'm doing it's base. Your video helped me a lot. Wow,
That's what they're there
great.
for.
That is what they're there for.
Void 16. Are you asking Zerg or are you asking me? Because I'm still painting the Salamanders. Because
Oh, I thought they were newts.
they might be newts. What's the difference? Friendly bat or night bat? Friendly bat? Lucky bat. Lucky bat. Let me know the difference between a newt and a salamander.
And what a mammal is.
Hi, Lucky Bat. Yeah, yeah.
Still don't know
Let
what
me
that
know
is.
the difference between a newt and a salamander. Joey Flores, magnetizing, you say. I like doing it myself. I find the hand-to-arm magnetization to be so much Since getting a 3D printer, though, I can print extra arms, which are easier to magnetize. Yeah, that kind of makes sense if you can figure out a nice system. I think magnetization is totally necessary on vehicles.
Yes,
because think about all the different options on a Predator. I mean, you can go, Predator autocannon, double las plaz. I think you can do, if you're Blood Angels, you can do assault cannons. And then you have the side sponsons, which can be las cannons or heavy bolters or none. And you're not going to own 7 Land Raiders or 7 Razor. Get it right. You're not going to own 7 Predator tanks, but you can probably own 3 different Space Marines. One with a plasma gun, one with a flamer, and one with a Melta. That's probably doable. And for me, part of the joy of 40K is the collecting. And so, it kind of doesn't make sense to own, 40 Space Marines, because you're not going to field 40 Space Marines every game. But you can kind of get away with it if you're like, well, I need to have 40 so I have all the options. So you still get to display them all and enjoy them. And you kind of get away with owning them.
Amazing. I think we're getting spammed.
Good. Do it.
Yep. I mean, we asked for
hecklers
hecklers on this chat, so that's really what I want. With good old Anusha and Lauren, and I'm sure Hash is here as well.
Very nice. Speaking of, tonight's beverage is Sprickers Maple Syrup Root Beer. It is the best stuff ever. It's Spreckers is kind of a local I think it's a local thing to Wisconsin and Illinois.
Midwest? Yeah. Is it?
Isn't it? I don't know. I don't know nothing.
I don't know.
But
that sounds true.
Sound true. This is my my bottle opener. That Lucky Bat got me. I know Lucky Bat in real life, but they're not just a casual viewer. But it's a delicious root beer, and it has a lovely aftertaste of maple syrup. This is a paid promotion, actually. We got $1,000 for me saying that.
Yeah, y'all got duped.
That's why we're doing the stream, so that I can show off the root beer.
Yep, that makes sense.
But yeah, magnetization. I have a squad of Terminators, and I have 10 so far, and all of them are built normal. They're 10 Black Templar Terminators with Power Fists and heavy Storm Bolters, and I think I'm gonna buy another box, and I'm gonna build all 5 as heavy weapon options. So, storm cannons, the missile launchers, the heavy flamers. That way I can display a huge pile of Terminators, and I have all the options for when I want to play. Without and I'm probably not going to lose a whole model. I'll probably lose a heavy flamer.
Probably not.
But I'm probably not going to lose an entire Terminator. Although I did lose an entire Skitarii once. I had a box of 10 Skitarii.
Oh, yeah.
And now I own 9. Yeah. And I do not know what happened to the 9th guy. I'm pretty sure it's the one that I painted on camera. So, if anyone knows of the whereabouts of that one single Skitarii.
Did you file a missing persons?
I did, but I think Skitarii don't count for they're not a child, so there was no Amber Alert. Yeah, they don't really look that hard for missing people.
That makes sense. No. Especially missing models, which I think is a very sad thing.
Sprickers. Maple syrup Sprickers just taste like regular Sprickers. It does, for the most part, taste like a regular Sprickers, but it's a little sweeter, and it's a little maple syrupy. So I dig it. I can taste the difference. And I think it is absolutely delicious. I think it's an experimental flavor because it has the black bottle cap, and it seems like they only have the black bottle caps when they're trying it out. Once it's a regular thing,
you should buy a lot of it.
Once it's a regular, I do. Once it's a regular thing, it seems like they get their own bottle cap. Puma Cola also has a black bottle cap because it sucks. That's also a Sprecher's flavor. I think it's cherry or something. It's real bad.
What was the ginger one?
I think it was just like fiery ginger ale, and it had a penguin on it.
That one's disgusting.
It was real bad. I mean, I think it's a classic ginger ale, meaning it has no sweetness whatsoever. Yeah. It's literally just ginger and water.
Yeah, it's not great.
Not even a little.
And they took the fun out of it too.
Yeah.
You know, because ginger's a little fun, but they took that out of it.
Yeah, it just kind of burns in your mouth.
Yeah, not the best thing. Soda connoisseur.
Yes,
that's very true. Well, that I was thinking about it. So you enjoy a carbonated water.
I do. I like a good carbonated water.
A burp water,
yes.
if you will. Do you think LaCroix is better or is bubbly better?
I cannot taste the difference at all. They both just taste like they both just taste like a carbonated water that an ingredient was left in the same room as it. Like it's just a whisper of a different flavor.
Lemon, cherry.
Yeah, like the lemon lime. There was a lemon and a lime in the room that they were bottling them. That's how they got the flavors.
Yeah.
Ash, they honestly, when I started drinking them, I thought they weren't very good. But then I kind of got used to it, and I like the mouthfeel of the bubbles. And it's a very good soda replacement.
And exactly. And you don't drink it for the sparkling water. You drink it for the burps.
For the burps.
You drink it for the experience that you get with the carbonated beverage. Only
sparkling water from Costco.
Sparkling water from Costco.
Can't say I've ever had it, but I mean, if it's from Costco, it's got to be good, right?
I don't think I've ever been to Costco before. That's like one of those things we had to pay to enter, right?
Yeah, it's a big discount place.
You can burp with regular water, though. You can burp with regular water. I mean, you can, but not as hearty.
Yeah, like you might get one burp out of a glass of water. Out of a can of a bubbly, you're gonna get 10, 20. You're gonna get an afternoon of burps.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly, and you can get some screamers, which is really what's important.
Some true belches.
You want a good screamer. Yeah.
The first step to recovery is admitting you have a problem. Oh, I have a problem, but I don't think it's the bubbly. I don't think it's the burp water.
Yeah. There's a bunch of other things.
Costco pizza for life. I don't live near a Costco, but I do live near a Sam's Club, which is the same thing. And I loved running across the street and getting a 50-cent hot dog or a giant slice of pizza for $1. It was great.
Real ones can burp on command. Can you burp on command?
I mean, if I have one coming,
I can't either.
I can load it in the pipe and save it for a bit, but I can't. I can't just produce one out of thin air.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, mine are always 50-50 if I'm going to throw it in my mouth. So, I don't like to risk it. I don't like a good regurge.
Oh, I forgot to check what was new on Games Workshop today. Somebody in the chat, tell me, did the Primaris biker come out for pre-order? Become Costco. What? It's the same thing. Costco and Sam's Club. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Let's see the biker guy.
They did. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to. Let's shut down the stream. I gotta go spend some money. Shut it down. Stream's over, everyone.
Shut it down. Yep. Bye.
Ah, that chaplain. That chaplain is sick.
Yeah, the chaplain.
I may or may not be a little bit of a collector of chaplains. And if I had the new chaplain, it may or may not mean I own every chaplain on bike Games Workshop has ever made. All of them.
Mm-hmm. Not the new one. But 3 seconds after this live stream ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have it pre-ordered.
Yeah, and it'll be at my house early 2020 or 2022.
Or 2021.
Yeah, 2021 is already a wash.
That is true.
Short and sweet. Yes, Ash is very excited that the stream's ending.
That makes sense.
Well, Ash is a huge 40K fan. I don't think you'll find a bigger fan.
That's very true.
You know, you think me and Nick like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's starting her own YouTube channel soon, right? Painting with the assholes. I think that's what it's called.
I was gonna say actually that that they already had a channel and it was actually Miniac. They use a pseudonym.
Oh, that makes sense.
50K. There is something called 40K. Or 30K. There's something called 30K.
30K.
30K looks
amazing.
Awesome. It looks like a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It still uses the 7th edition rules, but there's like does but there's only a quarter of the models. So it's actually halfway balanced. Which kind of makes sense. Like, part of the reason that 40K is so unbalanced is that there's like 25 different armies that could take anything.
Yeah.
But with 30K, it's mostly balanced because there's just not as many things you can take. It's a little bit... 30K is almost like a... it's almost like a historical game. Because, like... 30K lore exists. It's all written down. So you can actually do battles that really happened. Whereas 40K is all kind of just made up as you go along. Like, why are the Black Templar fighting the orcs? Because that's what they decided to do today.
Yep.
But in 30K, you can actually, like, set up and take part in the actual battles that are in the novels. Why use a brush when you have your tongue?
So is it more like campaign-y then? Would you rather play a campaign than just make up a game?
I mean, a campaign is probably always going to be more fun, but it's not. It's pretty much regular 40K. You know, two people make an army list and then they show up and they duke it out. But there's something more, a little bit more role play when there's like real lore attached to your models.
And you have to dress up.
Yeah, you have
That's
to dress
the other
up.
thing that really helps. Yeah. Full Space Marine outfit. For everything.
Adam Soulsrud likes to finger his models.
Yep. Yep. We all start there. That's where I started.
Have delicate fingers like German sausage. I don't know if German sausage is considered delicate. It's pretty hardy. It's Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Like the actor. Man, Tom Hardy is so good sometimes. I didn't quite get him as Bane. Was it his voice as Bane? It didn't sound like him. It sounded like Sean Connery. Also, is Sean Connery alive?
I have no idea. I don't know because of the vid.
Well,
You
also
never
he's
know.
old.
You never know who's alive
That's
anymore.
true. That's true, and it changes by the minute.
Mm.
Ah,
Y'all should
Kilgore
drop
Void has got us
OnlyFans.
still alive,
Yep.
retired. I have a great story about Sean Connery retiring. So there's a great movie called Soylent Green.
Uh-huh.
I believe it is Sean Connery's last movie before he retired. Wait, that might not be true. He does. He has a wonderful death scene in the movie where he commits suicide, and then you find out what Soylent Green means, which is the namesake of the movie. But one of my favorite movies of all time. Wait, Kilgore Void. Let me check me if I get this one right. Then I still am up on what I don't know. There's one of my favorite movies of all time is the movie The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Very, 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 very loosely based on the novel The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the graphic novel. And apparently Sean Connery hated the movie so much, it's one of the reasons he quit acting. I think it's really fun. It's a Victorian literature characters are the Avengers. So you've got the man, the man with no face,
a long time ago.
Jekyll and Hyde, Captain Nemo, and the Nautilus, Dracula, Tom Sawyer. I think it's a great movie. If you like the Avengers, I don't see why you wouldn't like that movie. Zerg619, he was James Bond. I haven't seen almost any James Bonds. I saw a couple of the new ones with Daniel Craig, but I can't say I've ever seen an old James Bond. You happen to pick literally my favorite comic of all time. I've never read the graphic novel. I own it, and I've never read it.
Huh. I uploaded the pics of my Dreadnought to your Reddit.
Oh, sweet.
Let me take a look at it. Yeah, do links work in the chat?
I don't know. Hey, chat, try to throw up some links. You know, nothing too bad, just like pornography, and see if we can get the links.
Yeah.
Kilgore, it's your favorite comic. Do you like the movie? Have you ever seen the movie of The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Oh, this is really sick. Let me see if me as a baby I can put the the link in the chat. I don't know if the link works. It doesn't work.
That's probably for the best, but it would be convenient.
You have to copy it. You have to copy and paste it. It's pretty sick.
Quartermain is an opium addict dying in a drug den in Cairo. And Connery did not want to be an addict. I think it's a good movie. I mean, it has some flaws. It's a bit silly. The plot doesn't exactly make sense. But I really like the characters and the costumes and the world. It's got some really cool weapons in it. Because it's like pre-industrial. It's just on the cusp of the Industrial Revolution, so there's no cars. But Captain Nemo has a distinct vehicle he calls the automobile.
Oh.
Really? Huh, I wonder if he made it better or worse. Yeah, as an adaptation, it's blasphemy. Yeah, I've flipped through the graphic novel, and yeah. They bear almost no similarities, except for the characters.
They are the same characters.
Yeah, they're physically the same characters. Yeah, the props are awesome. I remember back in the Disney, I wanted to cosplay Captain Nemo, and so I watched the movie on my laptop and I screenshotted every 5 seconds of every scene Captain Nemo was in, not realizing that DVDs have programs in them that stop piracy. So I look after the movie wraps up. I'm like, that was fun. Let me go look at my material. And I had like 22,000 pictures of gray. Because it doesn't stop you from taking a picture. It just destroys the picture.
Yeah.
And I didn't even check once if it was working or not.
Wow. You must have been using the old laptop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, can you believe modern laptops are dropping the disk drive?
Wild.
That hot new technology.
Can you believe that my computer have real USBs?
Yeah, I mean, who still uses USB? What? Most equipment?
Yeah. Gotta move on to the USB-C.
Or else.
Or have a dongle.
Yeah, just carry around a little thing. What do you want it in the laptop you bought? What are you, a savage?
Yeah, no, we don't. Yeah, we're not doing that.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen started in 1898, but goes all the way up to the future like 3000s.
Wow.
Brewer Marcy, hello. Welcome to the stream.
Hi. Hello, Alex.
Dr. Drokel, plus the movie had Peta Wilson in it. Any chance I get to look at her, I'll take it. Was she the vampire? One thing I never understood about the movie, and which apparently it's great that everybody in the chat loves this movie.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
at the big crux of the movie, the Invisible Man gets all burnt up, and then he's just fine at the end. Did they ever explain, like, did his skin just heal and also his invisibility healed? I never quite understood. They never bring any attention to it. He's just fine at the funeral for Quartermain.
Yeah.
And I always just was like, I guess he got better. I guess his burns healed. Because he died. Pretty much. And then he's just fine. I like that movie a lot. I'm going to rewatch it one of these days. I think I own it. I got it from a hardware store near me. Took all invisible bandages. Yes, of course. I was at a hardware store, and they were trying to get rid of their DVDs, and so they took them out of the cases and put them in sleeves and sold them for like $2. And so I was flipping through, and I found a copy of The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Who would guess that you would get movies at a hardware store?
Invisible bandages.
Good.
They put vanishing cream on his wounds, and he got better. Yes, he did. The props in that movie are pretty awesome. They have, like, steampunky guns that are just generic guns with, like, sheet metal attached to them. And it's kind of awesome. If you check out Ironclad Miniatures, they do a line of League figures. Oh, that's really interesting. Here, let me write that down. maybe if I have a little money left over after the chaplain. Very nice. Ironclad Miniatures, do they do resin stuff or STLs? What is Ironclad Miniatures all about, Kilgore? They don't do the Batman stuff, do they? Like the DC superheroes miniatures? They're metal figures. Interesting. You don't see a lot of metal these days. There you go. I enjoy a good metal fig.
Yes. Let's see.
Lots of historical and steampunk.
They're either high quality resin or white metal.
Interesting. Very interesting. I would love a Captain Nemo.
Well, I think that'd be perfect to add to your collection.
When I started, they still had lead warnings. Yes. I have a little baggie of Civil War miniatures that I believe are lead.
Oh, they have to be.
They tasted a lot better. Yes. And I'm sure sanding them kicked off a lot of lovely aromas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remember, I think, what was it? Because there's like some sort of number on the box, and we
we did.
Just to see if it's
you gotta try.
And, yeah, of course. But unfortunately, the call didn't connect. Nobody's used this number in 30 years.
It dials like the Civil War. You're calling up somebody from, the sixth, you're calling up the South. You get a nice plantation.
Any tip on the wall? Yeah. Where's the North
we'll get
coming
those
in?
Yanks. You mark our words.
Oh. We didn't sand minis back then. We painted with testers. Model enamels.
I remember testers.
Yeah. I think I even painted with some of those.
It's not easy. Because it's not acrylic
easy.
paint.
Nope.
Hello, this is Gettysburg.
Gettysburg. Who is this?
He just calls Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
407 years ago, we were making little miniatures.
Doc! Just tell him the duck.
Yeah, don't go to the theater. Shut up, you're crazy.
Play's not that great.
Don't go to the theater. I'll do what I want. I'm the president. You better not go. I want Quentin Tarantino to make a movie about kind of in the same vein as Inglourious Bastards, but it's the Civil War. I also want him to remake Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, because Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter it's a pretty bland movie which is insane because it's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, except the very last like 15 to 20 minutes.
Other than that, this is Lincoln Post show.
Kilgore Void. Is that a reference to Anthony Jeselnik? He has a pretty famous joke like that, where he's talking about the Batman movie theater shooting, where he tweeted at
gosh.
Cinemark, like, other than that, how was the movie?
Oh man,
he is a funny comedian. So other than that, how was the movie? Painting a salamander.
I think we're gonna get in trouble for copyright infringement on that one.
Yes. That was the famous. I think that was by Bach. That little ditty.
Yeah. If you don't mind saying, what prompted your return to YouTube after such a long
That's
hiatus?
actually really
It's
personal.
Too personal.
That's I don't know if we can get into that. I don't know. It's kind of coronavirus kind of put our lives on hold, and so we thought, hey, we have free time. Let's do a lot of work.
Let's do a lot of work. And I mean, the reason why we stopped was college.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got way too busy with that.
Yeah, we tried for like 2 weeks in college to keep it going.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, it wasn't blowing up. It was taking a lot of our time that we already didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're kind of in a perfect position to try again.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Nick has anything else.
No, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be in the state that I'm currently in if the coronavirus didn't happen.
Yeah, you'd be in Honduras.
Because I was not in this. I was not anywhere close to Jay. 6 months ago? And so you never know. You never know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. My life wasn't great before, and I feel like it's better now. So this is much more fun to make this kind of stuff, and we never wanted to stop.
Yeah.
Because, like, we never really wanted to stop. It's just like everything. We were just busy. We had a lot of stuff going on.
Way back in the day when we stopped the first time, it was just because we got real jobs. We were going to college.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because we started this in high school, and then we got maybe a few months into college, and then we kind of had to stop. Yeah, with jobs and everything, and then trying to figure out what we wanted to do, and then we stopped, and then we moved, and then we kind of had I don't know, we were living together at that point. Then we had time to now that we live together, it should be a lot easier to do this. And then school got really busy again, to way more than it was before. Yeah. And then, but now, oh my gosh, I'm up to nothing. Every day can be this.
How did Joey Flores know he went to the Himalayas?
Ooh, awkward.
To learn with Duncan Rhodes. Does anyone in the chat have any? Has anyone in the chat tried out Duncan's vault content or his subscription content? Yeah, the Painting Academy. Because as much as I love Duncan's stuff, his painting is still kind of just Games Workshop-y. I want to see him go a little nuts. Do a little wet blending, try out some pigments, airbrushing. I mean, the stuff that he throws up on YouTube is still kind of the same sort of thing he was doing for G-Dubs.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see him get a little wet and wild.
Wet and wild. Wet n Wild Duncan. I don't think I've seen any of the newer videos that he's put out.
True, but now he can paint whatever he wants, which is nice. Yeah, it is nice to see him paint some other miniatures.
Yeah, that is nice.
But, you know, he base coat, highlight, shade, move on to the next color, base coat, highlight, shade, next color, base coat, highlight, shade. KC Lance. Good. Thanks for joining the stream. It has been, you know, hours since the last one. It has been approximately 1 day. Wait, no, it hasn't.
I primed some minis in my college dorm stairwell, then brought them back to my room to dry. My roommate got so pissed because the whole room smelled like primer when he got back.
That can happen.
I liked it myself.
Dr. Drokel, let me tell you a little story. One time I was doing, working on costumes for a high school production of a musical called Starlight Express. I wasn't a high school student at the time. I was in college, but I went back to work on this show, and it was raining the night before the show opened. And so we decided it'd be fine to spray paint in the basement we were working in, because we had no choice. So we were just spray painting just all night long, just sucking in those fumes. It was, it was great.
And then wasn't the guy in charge. He was, I don't know if he was spray painting with you, but maybe he was or something. And then he would go outside and have a cigarette.
Yep.
So he's just getting it both ways.
Oh my god, he is the absolute best. Yeah, he would spray paint with me in the basement, and then he would hop out into the rain to have a smoke. Starlight Express is by far the best rollerblading train musical ever.
It is. Oh my god, it's a nightmare. I remember seeing.
Yeah, like all my friends came to come see my work, and everyone was like, "Yep." Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Like, oh.
That was a show.
Mm-hmm.
No one fell the night that we went, though. I was really sad. What was really dumb is they had me paint symbols on all of everyone's knee pads, and then I just had to repaint them every night.
Oh yeah, that's dumb. Yeah. That is pretty dumb.
Ain't that basically doing whippets? Kinda. I mean, we were getting the propellant and the paint and everything.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yep. You were not the same after that experience. I can say that.
Yep.
It changed you. Wasn't it vaguely based off Thomas the Tank Engine?
It could have. I suppose it was. I mean, the premise is insane. So I'm sure like 99% of the 10 of you listening are not knowing what Starlight Express is, but a little boy is playing with trains, and the trains come alive, and they have a big race to secure the affections of a electric train car. And then at the very end, they decide to say screw you to the kid and live their own lives. It's very odd.
It's an acid trip on wheels.
Pretty much.
That's what that is.
It's an acid trip on rollerblades.
Yeah, it's a wild show.
One rock and roll too many.
Yeah.
Cats is insane, and I think Cats is far better than Starlight Express.
Yeah, I would say so.
And Cats doesn't make any sense.
No.
Did any of y'all see
Makes no
Cats the
sense.
movie?
Oh, you saw it, right?
Absolutely, I saw it.
Oh my gosh. I only saw certain scenes.
I absolutely loved the movie, and I think it's awful.
Uh-huh.
Like,
wasn't there? There was like a scene with like roaches in it.
Yeah, there's some tap
And,
dancing
like
roaches.
bugs are doing that is the only scene that I ever I've seen of the movie, because people are like, this is the most insane thing that you could ever watch.
It really is. I think it's an excellent movie with great choreography, great performances, good dancing, good music, good camera work. I think everything about it is great. But the decision to make them all creepy CGI monsters ruins it. They need to release the butthole cut. Yes, yeah. It's awful. Everyone looks so like. Imagine this for a second. Imagine, everyone can imagine a cat walking past you. Imagine if that cat was a little man. Imagine the fear and despair you would feel seeing a tiny little furry man scamper in front of you.
So do you think if they just made it costumes, like as a theatrical production, that would make it fun?
That would have made it. I think that would have made it beyond better than fine. I think it actually would have been a hit, because I think everything else about the movie is excellent, except the monster faces and everyone being weirdly nude but furry.
I mean, isn't that just all of us?
Yeah. Do you guys follow Corridor Crew? They did a VFX reacts about the cats. I think I saw that. I love the Corridor Crew. They're fun guys. Yeah, I don't think there's a way to fix cats. I think it's just from the idea of making everyone into weird naked homunculi. And what's weird is they almost seem to know it's a bad idea, because the biggest name actors, like Sir Ian McKellen, are basically not done. Like, they're not CGI'd over. Like, it's almost like the real actors were like, yeah, we're not gonna do that because it's dumb and stupid, and so they got away with wearing a little costume. I bet if done right, a fully animated film would do well. I don't know actually if that's true. I think there's something about a musical being performed by people is important. Because I think if they made Cats into an animated movie, it would actually be better. But it wouldn't be Cats. It wouldn't be Cats the musical. It would be Cats the perfectly nice animated film. Yeah, it'd be a lot more coherent. It would make sense.
And who wants that?
Yeah.
That's not what we're going for here.
I think because Cats exploded in popularity originally, and I think they were hoping for like a resurgence of that. I think there's a joke in Seinfeld where everyone's asking Elaine if she's seen Cats, and she hates it, and everyone keeps saying how awesome it is. I think it would have hit that popularity if it wasn't a nightmare film. A friend of mine is the biggest Taylor Swift fan in the entire world. She adores Taylor Swift, and I think she was going to skip it because she thought it looked weird.
Wow. That's saying something.
Oh my god, Fritz the cat. Kilgore Void, what? What do you watch? Like, do we have the same like YouTube rabbit holes? How on earth do you know about?
I think you just found a.
How on earth do you know about Fritz the cat?
You found a best friend.
Fritz the Cat is a very old adult animated movie. Before they knew to like change up the art style of adult animation versus child animation. So it's this movie with really adult themes and like darkness and violence, but it's animated just like you'd imagine like a Disney movie. It's real trippy.
Mm-hmm.
Kilgore Void, I watch everything.
Yeah.
Lucky Bat brings up Felidae. I'm sure that's one Kilgore Void loves.
Yeah. Yep. We haven't seen it, or we haven't, because we talked about watching it.
We
like,
did. I've seen it. I've seen it
whatever.
once.
I know. I would love to see
it's
it.
a trip. It's a trip and a half. It's a German animated cat movie.
Mm-hmm.
That deals with like cults and suicide and murder. And like a weird Nazi cult. It's a fun time. You all should check it out. I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Wizard. Oh, I know what Wizard is. I don't think I've ever seen it, but it's a Wizard is a pretty famous animated movie or animated movie, I think. And I've seen a lot of the art from it, and it looks fantastic. But I have not sat down and actually given it a watch. The book Felidae is more cohesive. I'm sure, Lucky Bat.
Uh-huh.
You happen to pop into Saber Spark. His video is how I recall some of those old anime movies like Fritz, which is trippy. I don't know if I know Saber Spark. I've seen the movie Fritz the Cat. Half rotoscoped, half animated. Ah, Lucky Bat knows Saber Spark.
Amazing.
All right. So speaking of Saber Spark, I'm gonna duck out for a minute, so Nick's gonna have to keep you entertained.
Beautiful. I have so many things to talk about without you here. One of the big things that no one knows about Jay is that he's vegan. And by vegan, that means that when he goes to McDonald's, he can only get things that are made out of chicken, because the chicken is pretty much just 99% filler and then 1% nicotine. And that's what he really likes to eat. Same thing with Taco Bell. When he goes to Taco Bell, it can only be chicken-based items because that's vegan. Because that's not actually chicken. But yeah. And I'm working on my own little kill team over here while we're talking. And I'm starting a new little thing. And I'm starting maybe a new army. And Jay has no idea about it. And so I've been just clipping different options, and then I'm going to borrow the kill team book from Jay, and then I'm going to start trying to figure out what options I want to have. Filler and nicotine are part of a complete diet. That's very true. That's how I like my diet. Mostly full of nicotine. Oh boy, I hear the man himself. Walking all the way over here.
And I'm back.
Insane. Oh, Joey, that is a secret, my friend. He's talking about my kill team.
Ah. Are they giving you tips on orcs?
Ooh,
Do we have anyone in the chat who plays kill team? Ah, Casey Lance, broken arm is no excuse. Did you break the fingers? Gets a pain.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, what that means is you just have a built-in holding arm. That's what that is. That arm is for holding.
You know, now seems like a perfectly good time to train up your off arm.
Yeah.
You know, not painting sounds like quitter talk to me.
Yep, very true. Oh, October. That's hilarious. It's my dominant hand. Yep. Gotta start learning. We all started somewhere.
Znu BQ. No? Znu B. Well, your name's Znu BQ now. Znu BQ. If you love Kill Team, could you give me some resources for learning Kill Team? I have the rulebook, and I enjoy watching the YouTube channel BeerNid40K. But if you have some other things you could throw at me, I'd really appreciate it.
ZNewbieQ. That's how you pronounce it.
ZNewbieQ. ZNewbieQ.
Wow. Joey Flores has 5 teams.
Necrons, Grey Knights, Chaos, Deathguard, Thousand Suns, Orcs, and painting Space Marines with Krieg to follow. Very cool.
That is very neat.
Krieg is a rabbit hole I don't think I could ever let myself go down. It's like, hey, do you want a super badass 40k army that just costs double?
Half Glass Dead seems to know what he's talking about.
Half Glass Dead. Interesting. Yeah, well, ZNewbieQ, I'm just trying to learn the rules. I don't think I'll ever get competitive. There's some interactions I'm not quite understanding. Like, who exactly does the roles for taking flesh wounds? Is it the owner of the model or the attacker? Casey Lance, I want to get into Necromunda too, but I can't figure it out. I've got the book. I got the starter set from way back in the day. I cannot figure it out. Like, I read the rules and it's trying to teach me how to make a whole it's trying to teach me how to make like an entire like conquest. It's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, it is.
And there's nothing good on like actual Games Workshop side on helping you get into it.
No.
What books do I need? Do I need to get the new stuff? Are there erratas? Oh no, the chat's going too fast.
It is.
Our Salamanders a little overpowered. Kilgore Void. Vostorians, Tau, the Rogue Trader Box team, Mantis Warriors. I love Mantis Warriors. The attacker. Okay, so the attacker rolls the flesh wounds for the models. Okay, ZNewbieQ. I got another one for you about the flesh wounds. So let's say ZNewbieQ. Another question about the flesh wounds. So let's say I've been attacked with a 2-shot plasma gun, and both hits go through. Do both hits that have gone through turn into 1 roll for flesh wound or 2 roll for flesh wounds?
We'll have to check out Play on Tabletop.
Broadsword Gaming. Casey Lance. Yeah, Necromunda is tricky.
Got a lot of good bursts.
It really is tricky. ZNBQ 1 basically. Interesting. So I guess the moral of the story is you don't want to overkill because you'll be just wasting your shots. You want to attack with just the force necessary.
Yeah, we'll have to play another one of those games sometime soon. Because it's really fun. I mean, that's really how they should promote getting into 40K.
Yeah, I think so. What's the?
You get them hooked, and then you start a big ass army.
Interesting, ZNBQ. One interesting thing about 40K right now is what is the dealio with 9th edition? Is it out? Is it happening? I know all the codexes are still good, except for the new ones that they're coming out with now are gonna supersede the ones that came out in 8th edition. Is 9th edition good? Is it better than 8th? Is it worse than 8th? I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan. I'm sure they're all laughing. I'm not a big fan of stratagems. I don't like the idea of these big, huge, powerful plays. Thanks, Kilgore Void. Also, thanks ZNBQ. You've been very helpful.
Yes.
The summer after 8th. That was fantastic. Oh. Hey-oh.
Oh, man. I love that so much.
I think Kilgore is our #1 fan.
Ooh. My gosh.
I know probably the last time me and Nick have played 40K was back at when 8th dropped. And when 8th dropped, it was awesome.
Yes.
When everything was in they weren't codexes, they were like compendiums. And the rules were fresh and clean and nice. Everything was slick and shiny.
Yeah. We were teaching our friends how to play that had like no experience with it.
And we were able to do it.
Yeah, and it was like fun for everyone. Remember like 6th edition, 7th edition, where we would do like a turn in 5 hours.
Yeah, and we had to look up tank shock every goddamn time. We would roll for night. We would roll for night fighting and then never do it.
Yeah.
The indexes, yes. ZNBQ. Dr. Drokel.
Yes.
There needs to be a hardcore edition of Warhammer where you get to take a hammer to the minis when the troops die.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Not made of money.
That's very true. 40K is expansive.
You gotta play to win.
Yeah, the thing that has me really scared with the stratagems is like, oh well, I guess like trying to get off these big powerful plays is not as interesting to me as just army versus army. Like if you're like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have taken this, but I can pay 2 points for the stratagem. and all of a sudden I get to shoot twice at a turn. And then all of a sudden, and then of course, you know, your opponent is not going to know every stratagem that's in your codex. And so you just have to say, oh, by the way, I can do this thing that's going to decimate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It has me a little spooked.
Mm-hmm. I would assume, wouldn't they release the 9th edition rules online like they did the 8th edition?
I have no idea. I haven't really looked.
Because that was the whole thing. They released the rules online for free. I would assume that they did. Unless it's not actually out. I don't know. It is very confusing.
Wylock Armory, a terrain builder I follow, did a recent vid on Grimdark Future, which is a one-page set of rules for 40k play. Good for starting out. Interesting, Kilgore Void.
Tabletop did how to play Warhammer 40k 9th edition for beginners. That doesn't help me.
Did Mini Wargaming do a whole thing? I know they did a whole spread for 7th edition and 8th edition. I feel like 9th edition just kind of ticked over without much fanfare.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we're doing this now. Well, the news was crazy during that time, and I mean, still is. Yeah, it just kind of happened.
Step 1, take out a mortgage. There are some armies where you can get into them for a practically reasonable amount of money. Wylock's Armory.
I think I've seen that channel. Pretty sure I've seen some of those vids.
The COVID edition.
I remember.
COVID edition isn't fair because Nurgle always wins. That is very true. the Papa Nurgle needs his Nurglings. I saw a really funny post on Facebook where at the beginning of COVID where someone was saying, I'm a Nurgle player and I would just like to say to everyone, my bad, guys.
Whoops. Yeah, I have no idea about these rolls.
Z Nubiq, Esoteric Order of Games, is that a GW thing or a someone else thing? The FAQ and designers community for Kill Team are also, unfortunately, basically required reading. Ah, interesting. Z Nubiq, where can I find the FAQ? Is it just, do I need to look it up on the Games Workshop's community?
The community thing?
Or did I just need to, www.killteam.com?
The easiest way to get beginners in the game is to make it really confusing.
Ah, it's a someone else thing. In the download section. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, because I know it was the same way for 40K. for the corrections.
Mm-hmm.
When people would be like, "How does this work?" and then they would post an even more complicated version of that would confuse everyone further.
Post something that just makes less sense.
XenoBQ, did you already say what kill teams you play? Like, what factions do you play in kill team? There are actually also crazy edge cases that basically need to be rewritten, like Tau shield drones. Interesting. Tau has never really interested me for 40k, but I actually really want to get into Tau for kill team. Because I love the Tau Pathfinders. I think they're just awesome models.
It's always good to have a few burps in there. By a few, I mean a ton.
Kilgo Void, gotta pick up my Imperial Infantryman Handbook soon. The Imperial Infantryman's Handbook, don't you mean the latrine liner? XenoBQ, Tau, Vostroyan, the Rogue Trader Team, Mantis Warriors, and Thousand Suns. Now, for your Mantis Warriors, did you go freehand on their emblems, or did you find a 3D print online? Because Mantis Warriors is an army I love. There's a wonderful Mantis Warriors army on Daka Daka that has like 1,000-page work in progress. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh,
and he does some of like the old school like yellow with like leaf camouflage. Emergency rations. Yes, the infantryman primer. XenoBQ, I do freehand. Twas hard. Aren't we all?
All the guys I knew that played Tau were metagamers, made playing casually at my FLGS a nightmare. Yep.
Yeah, Tau
makes sense.
Tau were nothing until they were all of a sudden the best army in 40k.
Yep.
I think though they've sunken back down. I think. I don't know. That's the thing. 40k changes so much so fast. The only thing we know for sure is that Chaos Space Marines will never be good. XenoBQ, I do one single scout pad, then never painted any more scouts. I started my Tau kill team before the rules dropped, then they wound up being meta as hell. KZ Lance hasn't played since 7th dropped though. The store turned into a political debate hangout, and I just couldn't handle it. I hear that, Casey.
We played a little bit of Lost Patrol recently.
Oh Have any of you heard of Lost Patrol? Yeah, real politics get to be real bummer real fast.
Yep. I agree.
What is Lost Patrol? That is a good question, Craig. Lost Patrol is a very little known Games Workshop game where you take control of some scouts lost in the dangerous jungle as they search for an escape pod that has critical mission data on it. And so you have to fend off your way through gene stealers to get there. It is a boxed game. I believe the last time it was available was 2016, 17 is when I would have bought it.
17.
Yeah, 2017.
I think we have a basing video on it.
Yes, that's true.
I remember how excited you were for it, and then never played it.
Yeah.
Until you played it a little bit, but we only played it like a week ago. Yeah.
Me and Lucky Bat have played it a couple of times. And it's kind of a fun game. It's real quick. It's pretty basic. But there's a lot of fun to be had with it. As long as you change the rules.
Oh my god, it really... Yeah, as long as you play a different game with the idea, it's super fun. Yeah, with the rules, I don't know. It's not that fun.
The real thing of the game is there's hexagonal tiles, and they kind of self-generate as you move around. So as you move your scouts around looking for the escape pod, you lay down more tiles. And so it's kind of this kind of fun procedurally generated game, which is kind of novel for a tabletop.
Yeah. But it's rather hard for the scouts to win.
It is hard for the scouts to win, which would be fine, but if according to the regular rules, it's impossible for the scouts to win.
Yeah. Yes. It's not rather hard. It's impossible.
XenoBQ Space Marine Adventures, is that the new game that they're putting in like bookstores and stuff? It uses some of the Japanese models that are like the one sprue blind bag stuff.
Your experience with Lost Patrol was mine with Space Hulk.
I love Space Hulk. It's right there. You guys probably can barely see it. I love me some Space Hulk.
I wonder if it's still up. We had a video of us playing Space Hulk.
Yes.
Probably 2015.
Getting every single rule wrong.
And it got like... and everyone was making fun of us in the comments because they're like, you don't know how to play the game. Why are you doing this? We started playing it right when it dropped, the newest version. And so it got a lot of views and a lot of people saying like, no. Stop.
You're bad at this. You should feel bad for being this bad at this.
You should learn how to read.
The Fantasy Flight RPGs were great. XenoBQ, is that like the Star Wars D&D games? I'm not that familiar with Fantasy Flight. Dark Heresy, Rogue Trader, Only Wars. Oh my god. Kind of like those, but better. Interesting. I know some friends of mine were really into the Star Wars D&D.
I like X-Wing.
Oh, X-Wing is super
X-Wing's
fun. Let me spin you guys a yarn about X-Wing. So, I
boy.
love all things Star Wars, and out of the blue, I'm coming home from work, and a friend of mine texts me and he says, "Hey, me and a buddy are gonna play this game X-Wing. Have you heard of it?" And then I said, "I will be there in 1 hour." And I turned my car around and I drove right to the store and I bought like $150 of models. Drove to their house and we played it probably for 10 hours. Man, X-Wing is a good game. Craig, what do you need help with rebasing a Necron warrior? Are you talking about like getting him onto 32s? Or just picking a new scheme? What's up, Craig? What's the dealio?
What's the dealio? Oh, I also watched the Sponge Monkey.
Oh
Quiznos
yeah, I saw that
commercials.
too.
We were talking.
I
Oh
just saw
my
a picture
God.
of the Sponge Monkey. I didn't even see the advertisement.
Oh, you need to go watch it. Oh my gosh, it is wild.
How do I safely cut off the tab that holds the model in place? Are you talking about on the brand new Indominus Necrons? Because I would suspect you can just go at it with a hobby knife. Here, I'll be right back.
Yep, we have. Yep. Yep, we have some of those. Jay's gonna go grab one. He's desperately trying to find it right now. I can hear it. You can't hear the screaming, but he's screaming. We love the subs because they're good to us. Amazing. Yep. The models are behind him. He doesn't even know. Every time he looks for the model, it actually transports to a different dimension. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Just desperately looking for it. Oh my gosh. Here we go.
Well, Craig, I had no luck finding my Necron Indominus models. I did a really good job hiding them from myself. But I think you'll have no trouble clipping away that peg, but are you worried about the rock that comes sculpted onto each foot?
Yeah. He was talking about the hexagon peg.
The hexagon peg, you should be able to hack that off no problem. Just take your flush nippers, your hobby cutters, and chop it right off.
Mm-hmm.
Hit it with a little sandpaper to clean it up. Yeah, Kilgore, but I don't know. I think I literally like hid it from myself. I don't know where they could be. Have a whole squad.
I remember seeing them on the. I don't know what it's called. That like
The coffee table.
in front. Yeah, the coffee table.
That's where I've seen them too. I thought I had probably thrown them in with my unpainted models, but I didn't see them. So.
Do I have them?
I don't think so.
I have them.
They're around. Legion looks amazing. The only thing I know about Legion is the models, and I love the models. I want me some droids. I want some droids.
Did you love a good droid?
Me and a neighbor friend of mine were super into Star Wars growing up, and we were big into Star Wars Lego. And so every time either of us would get a Star Wars set, we would trade. If I got a set, I would trade him the clones for droids and vice versa. So I had a massive collection of Star Wars Lego droids. And I remember I put them all in a Ziploc bag for safekeeping, and then I lost the bag. So I no longer.
It seems like a common thing.
I no longer have a giant collection of Lego Star Wars droids.
And some say the Necrons are with those droids to
They're
this
sitting
day.
right next to them. Jay has the correct priorities. Yes, to help practice reflecting light on dark. It is tricky. Man, though, I want some Star Wars. I want General Grievous. I want some battle droids. I want some super battle droids. I want some droid Deka. I want some assassin droids. I want some commando droids. I want it all.
You just want some droids.
Droids given to me. Kilgore Void Legos are more expensive than 40k models these days. Yes and no. I'm a little saddened by Lego. I think one thing that's hurting them right now is they're making like a lot of collector pieces and not as much toys. I don't know if kids just don't play with toys anymore, but it does seem like more and more they're aiming stuff at a collector market, which I think
that's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
I don't have any kids.
Mm-hmm. Part of the charm of a Star Wars Lego set is that it's a toy.
Yeah.
Now it seems like every vehicle is like a hyper realistic $100 and some set.
I wonder if like the parents just hand the phone over and their kid just drools on it, just plays games on it all the time. I mean, that's the majority of things that I see. Yep. Damn these computers and all their beep-bop computers and pixel games.
They're beep-bopping and scopping computers and pixel games.
I hate them so much.
I mean, I love me a Lego, but yeah, I mean, they keep coming out with like it was really cool when they came out with the full size BB-8. I thought that was super cool. But they keep doing it. They came out with a Yoda. They're coming out with a baby Yoda. And I'm just thinking, this is taking up valuable shelf space that should be dedicated to like regular Lego sets.
Toys.
Yeah, toys.
The cutest thing is I got the BB-8. And then you made a BB-9E.
I did. I made the first order BB-8s. I designed it in Brick.io, which is a lovely free program, and I ordered all the parts off of BrickLink, and then we assembled them at the same time. And I realized I had not ordered half the parts I needed, so I had to wait. Yeah,
remember I was super sick that day.
I remember. but you were still in the mood for Legos.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, the amount of times that I put together Lego sick, though.
That's true.
I mean,
most of the time.
Yeah, Mommy, I can't go to school, but I can play with Legos, all right.
The AFOLs. They've got massive disposable incomes. CNBQ, hey Jay, have you seen the new LEGO Star Wars gaming rules? The LEGO War gaming rules. I have not. I don't know what that is. Brick Wars. Brick Wars. I know about Brick Arms. He's a really cool guy who makes Lego inspired versions of like realistic guns. I don't think I've ever heard of Brick Wars though. I've heard of Brick Vault, which is a really cool Lego YouTube channel. Dude, Brick Wars looks awesome. Somebody enlighten me. What is Brick Wars? Y'all are keeping me in suspense.
They're typing.
On their tippity-tap devices.
Always tippity-tapping. What I'm disappointed for is when I get old, there won't be kids on my lawn to yell at. Because they'll be inside playing games.
Oh my god, you guys are not helping.
Building. Yeah, this is just teasing. It makes the building of Legos part of the combat mechanics.
That sounds like fun. For anyone interested in painting, I'm base coating all the weapons gray because I'm going to be doing a sort of a quick and dirty non-metallic metal. Because usually I find on like miniatures more meant for display, it can look a little tacky to have like all nice and accented colors and then just metal paint. For some reason it just doesn't quite look right.
That makes sense. Kids will be grown in pods in the future. They will be the lawn.
There are fields, Neo. Endless fields where humans are no longer born. They are grown. I'm sure Kilgore got that reference.
Probably. I wonder if Megaflux are competition allowed. Yep, that's true.
ZNBQ, show us the non-metallic metal. I mean, you'll see it. I have not done much of it, so it'll probably not be something to write home about, but hopefully it'll work out. It's kind of like just picking out your average, like, highlights and shadows, but you just push it to the extreme.
Like nachos. Yeah.
Casey Lance, are you guys young enough? The Matrix references are things people don't inherently get. I mean, The Matrix is still popular.
We watched Matrix in school. I mean, I did.
Mm-hmm.
We went over in lit.
I think
in high school.
I think the original Matrix movie is one of the best movies ever made. Definitely the best action movie. One of the best action movies ever made. And probably one of the best science fiction movies ever made. Love the Wachowski sisters.
It makes me feel so old. You studied it in high school. Yeah, I don't know. That teacher was interesting. Yeah, we're gonna watch The Matrix, and I guess we'll learn something about it.
Was it Schmidt?
It's a great. No, it was Tarzinski.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
it's a darn good film.
It is a darn good film.
Made an entire generation of solipsists. I'm both excited and nervous for the new Matrix film. I don't think it can disappoint, because The Matrix 1 is a masterpiece, and Matrix 2 and 3 are interesting. So, hopefully it'll be either of those things.
Mm-hmm.
The Matrix is so darn good. So good. I think about all the action scenes on like a daily basis. I think probably once a month I have to watch the kung fu scene between Neo and Morpheus.
Do you remember when Brian was super into it? And then he was so into it. He's like, "Guys, come over. We're gonna watch all the movies in a night." And we were like, "Okay." We went over there.
No, we watched we watched the first quarter of the first one.
Let's play with Nerf guns.
Yeah, it's no fun to watch a good movie in a group, because you just sit quietly and watch the movie. You gotta watch a bad movie.
Yeah, you can just do that alone. Yep.
When you could even go to the movies, other than just streaming them at home. I am not aware of these things called movie theaters.
Movie.
Animatrix is awesome.
Movie theaters. Yeah, I have a bunch of movie theaters. Like I must be subscribed to their their email chains, and every day they're like, "Hey, we're open. You can watch movies here."
Oh, I bet they're open.
You can do it. And some of them are like, "You don't have to wear a mask.
Just come in the door.
We don't care. Just come."
If you watch a movie, we'll just give you stuff.
It's wild. Yeah.
I do want to see that movie coming out.
If you come to the theater.
Like the Let's Be Friends, or God, what was it called? Come Play. I think it's called Come Play. It's a spooky, scary movie. Yes. It looks nice and spooky and nice and scary.
That's the one that you showed me? Yeah.
Well, Kilgore Void, I think there's something to the gigantic screen, ultra loud environments. It's kind of cool for the right movie. Like, there are totally some movies you can skip the theater experience with, but
Although, how many? So we've seen a bunch of movies together. How many of the experiences got ruined somehow randomly?
How many got ruined?
Like, most of them. Like, we've had people stand up in front of projectors. True. Remember we watched 8? I think, was it 8? Yeah, I think it was 8, and someone had a radio.
Yeah, someone next to me was listening to the
radio
during the movie for Star Wars Episode 8.
And it was that scene that everything gets all silent. and then you just hear the radio. And you turn to them real quick and you just gave them a look. It was amazing.
Dr. Drokel, if you go to the right theater, nobody says anything about you not wearing pants. My man. Casey Lance, I'm with Z. I wonder if they meant J. I enjoy the experience in person with others, but I've also... Snoopy, yeah. I've also had them ruined. I've never had them ruined, but it's always a little annoying when somebody's just not being a good sport. But there are some movies that I think were movies that were so good I felt like I was lucky to get to see them in theaters, like Iron Man 1 or Mad Max Fury Road.
Iron Man 1 in theaters.
Or
I came home and I came home and I started playing. I started pretending like I was Iron Man.
Mad Max Fury Road is possibly the best movie of the decade. It's just so great. So unbelievably good. CNBQ, I love Fury Road so much. I have the hipster black and white Blu-ray. And even though color plays such a big role in the movie, it actually looks fantastic in black and white as well. Some scenes don't hit as hard, but I think some scenes hit way harder in black and white. I think it is a worthwhile experience to go out and seek the black and white Mad Max Fury Road. Apparently, it's how George Miller wanted the movie to be made, but the studios were like, George, that's dumb. No one will come watch it. And they were probably right, but I did enjoy it.
The hipster edition.
I think that's what it's called, the hipster edition. No, it's called It's called Black and Chrome. Instead of black and white.
I get it. That's a funny joke.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Bwap.
I live in Vegas, so I just go to the theaters that serve alcohol or are in casinos. Cuts down on the kids being there. Usually makes a better experience.
I can believe it.
That's great.
There's a little indie theater near me that I like that shows cult classic movies for like $5. That's true. Matinees are usually where it's at.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kilgore Void. Oh, wait. Kilgore Void. The fan is coming along. Now I need a black paint.
You really saved it at the end there.
Oh yeah, I was about to be canceled.
Yep. Do you remember Tom?
Yeah. T. Mitch.
T. Mitch. He was our theater production teacher. And we had white paint and black paint. And he called the people with white paint the whites, and he called the people with black paint the blacks. And he would say, the black should come over here and the white should come over here.
Yep.
He would just yell it as loud as he could. It was wild. And everyone was giggling and he didn't get it. Just move over there. He was from a different time.
Yeah, he was 2 days till retirement.
Yeah.
He was
2 days. He was like 2 days to retirement every day that we were there.
For the year and some change we worked there.
He was in Hawaii every day. Yep, it would not fly today. He said so many things that I couldn't believe.
Yep.
Man, people would be upset. Some of the things he was right about though, because some people don't want to work
Yeah.
hard or do any work. So he'd kind of be like, "Hey, paint the stage a little quicker, please."
Yeah.
But he wouldn't say please.
No.
Just paint it faster.
Yeah, paint it faster, I'll yell louder.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
fine.
It teaches you. It teaches you to prioritize, get things done quickly on a budget, work faster and smarter and harder.
Do a lot of work very quickly.
Kilgore Void, funny theater story if you want. Are you asking permission to tell your story?
Yeah.
Because there's no rules. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not wearing pants. All bets are off. What I'm doing.
Oh my god, Dr. Drokel. had a teacher who was boozing it up. Did they show a lot of videos? I'm gonna put on a video while I nurse this hangover.
Mm-hmm.
My theater director used to was a good guy, did a lot of work with middle and high school stuff, but he took no crap. Oh, you worked with Tom as well.
Yep. Yeah, he showed us the Matrix. Okay. He and I got to be good buddies, so he pulls me aside one day and tells me he's been diagnosed with stomach cancer. Spoilers, he's fully recovered and doing great. So being the sort of dude he is, he never stops working, even through treatment. Most good, but this one girl cannot physically stop whining all the time.
I can't find a monologue. Oh my god, monologues.
What am I going to perform at state? Every day for a week. Oh my god. So Friday comes and she's still whining, and he just slams down his work binder and says, "Taylor, you're making my cancer hurt."
You're making
Oh
my
my
cancer
God.
hurt.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's a pretty good one.
You're making
That does sound like a
my
Tom
It
story
does
too.
sound like a Tom.
And Zerg 19 asked you a question. By the way, you don't thin down your paints, or do you do that in some specific cases?
No, I thinned on all my paints. I mean, I guess you guys aren't getting a great view of my palette. Let me try to fix that. But you know, see how each one is a blob and then a tail. The trick to a wet palette is if the paint is thin, it'll still dry out, but if it's a blob, it'll absorb enough water to keep it fresh. So I kind of dip my brush into the blob and then just pull it out, and then I take a little bit of paint off of my paper towel, and then I use that to thin. Here, let me
You blob and weave, as they
show
say.
you guys exactly what I mean. So if I want to grab some of this gray, I wet my brush on the paper towel, and then I dip it into the blob, and then I pull it out. And then I continue to pull until the paint is at the right consistency. And there's no hard and true like paint consistency. Like sometimes I want it thinner, sometimes I want it thicker. All depends. The adult diaper. And so that's probably another reason why I use a plate instead of an actual product wet palette, because I'm just so used to how this handles that I wouldn't want to switch to another product that handled a bit differently. Because I like what I got.
Ceramic tiles are pretty good. I've done that too.
Ceramic tiles for a palette?
Yeah.
Does it have like a lip to keep the water in?
Nope.
Huh. How does it stay hydrated?
You just keep. I mean, you have to just keep the paper towel hydrated.
I like my palette nice and wet.
Water tension and paper towels. All this together. I used to use my neighbor's pool for my wet palette, but then it became a whole thing.
I saw.
Yeah, I used to do that as
I
well.
saw Miniac do that the other day. He put his wet palette on a kiddie pool, on a disgusting, dirty kiddie pool.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it.
Zerg619. The dry brushing, you actually want dry pigment essentially. So you load up your brush with paint, and then you wipe it and wipe it and wipe it until you're not getting kind of wet paint coming off your brush anymore. And then you hit the model. I need a lighter gray. I I think I actually don't need Vallejo Stonewall Gray, though. Stonewall Gray actually has...
What?
It has a little bit of brown in it.
It does.
What is this color? Ghost Gray. I'll use this.
It has spirits in it.
Mm-hmm. This should be a GIF.
You shaking the painting? I think the new video that we're gonna put out will have a lot of GIF moments. Wild video. The only thing it's missing is a wet t-shirt contest between the two of us.
That'd be funny.
It's a little cold.
It's a little cold.
Although I don't want my beach bod to go to waste.
Ooh, this stuff's pretty dry. I should. It's a little dry. I should transfer it into a dropper bottle.
Oh man. We're still getting comments on that video like crazy. My favorite one is the one that called you a clown.
Yeah. I love it. Everyone,
they sure got you.
Everyone is like, dude, $15 is way too expensive. I spent $20. And I'm like, wait, dude, that's more. Do you not get that that's more money than $15?
If you're a student at college, look for painting supply stores near the school, and you can load up on stuff like palettes or brushes for dirt cheap.
With like a student discount, or are you talking about like art supply stores?
I mean, if I lived near, if I like lived in Milwaukee again, I would just lie. I still have my ID. I look like I'm still in college. I will look like I'm still in college until I'm 40. So, we'll just keep doing that. Yeah, you gotta take the paint out of that and put it in your AliExpress dropper bottle in a rusted steel ball.
Yeah. It's the only way. It's the only way for your paint to sit on a shelf for 5 years, never being used, and still be workable. Good stuff.
Are you out of sody pop?
I mean, there's a difference between being out and this bottle being empty.
Is that the OG bottle?
No, that's another bottle.
Oh. Yeah, someone's not going to bed tonight.
No, I'll be too busy pissing.
Too busy pissing. That should be an EOB shirt.
Once we have merch. Yeah, most art colleges get some places that crop up near them that do student discounts, exploit them.
Should always exploit. I feel like I got exploited. Never got anything like that. Things were cheap. Everything's more than full price. Did you start out painting Warhammer stuff, or did you do other gaming minis and then get into it?
I started with 40K. I had painted other models in my life. I had done some like model airplanes, model tanks. Never really successfully. And then I started my 40K career with Necrons. Or as IDIC Beer would say, Necrons. That guy.
That guy's great. Yeah, I had a similar thing. I had a bunch of model cars. I had a Camaro, which was pretty cool. It was like when it was still in the concept car phase. It's pretty neat. And then Jay got a bunch of stuff for 40K, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this too. Remember, you would bring it into we were taking CAD classes in high school, and
taught us everything we know.
I remember you brought some Gretchen in. Yeah, everything we know about everything. That was a dumb class.
It was.
It could have. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, it could be a life-changing class for someone, but they didn't learn anything. We learned that AutoCAD exists, and you can open it and close it and put a toilet in with a symbol. That's what we learned. I remember we had to make a house and I put a urinal in it. That's how it should be.
My goodness, this white does not want to thin.
You guys got to take CAD in high school? Legit jealous. It wasn't good, though.
The teacher didn't know anything about AutoCAD. He taught he taught like, himself like as we were walking into class by watching a YouTube video.
Yeah, so it was kind of a nightmare.
And we were little monsters. I don't know why we did this, but every time he would be unsure of himself, we would pantomime taking a shot just in the middle of class. Everyone could see us. He never said a word about it.
Yeah. Nope.
Kizzy Lance, good night. Yes, I hope to get these salamanders finished one day too. I think that'd be awesome.
Yes, take care. I never played, but I used to pick up some GW models that I liked when I saw them, mostly undead stuff.
With a section of drafting by hand. I did a little hand drafting. In high school, I was studying to be a welder because I could take college classes. I got special permission to take college classes, and so I had a class on drafting for welders, and we did a little hand drafting.
I remember the with the job that I had, where because I was a draftsman, and then I talked about how I never learned any hand drafting at all, and everyone was so upset the whole time. They were like, "Well, we had to spend 5 semesters doing hand drafting, and then we used the computer for 1 second."
And then we're just like, sucks to be you.
Yep, it's like, yeah, the computer's sick, so I don't care.
Yeah, it'll never go back. Unless there's like a some sort of an EMP or a meteorite takes out all of our digital everything. Be the only way.
Which, I mean, the way that the world works, seems like that makes sense. The way the world's going. Ah, yes. Yeah, check out the EonsOfBattle subreddit for the papercraft. And I sent you a link as well if you want to look at
absolutely. Ooh, I love a dreadnought. I love a dreadnought more than life itself. They are so badass. If anyone wants some real great dreadnought content, check out Voldemort's lore video on dreadnoughts. He has a lovely, lovely story about a mortally wounded space marine getting entombed in dreadnought armor. My computer's chugging along because I'm making it work.
Making it work.
Wow, that's really good. A papercraft dreadnought. It looks like a real dreadnought. That is super cool. Wow. Neat. I love the banner. Old school banner.
Oh, I love
and
that
the twin heavy bolter. The old Forge World exclusive. Alright, so if you guys kind of see what I'm doing with the metal, so I have it basically blocked out how I'm going to do the reflections. But it's a little... I mean, it's definitely more visually interesting than the flat side. And so I think I'm gonna work on getting some better blends. Just by applying some thin paint. But I'm basically running the gamut of black all the way to white.
Kilgore Void. So what's something everybody does while painting? Like listening to music, podcasts, watching a movie, whatever.
I like YouTube or a podcast. I love the Joe Rogan Experience. Love the Joe Rogan Experience.
Did you see the Tim Dillon one?
I did. You know what though? They didn't. They just kind of talked conspiracies the whole. Well, I mean, not. They talk conspiracies, but not the fun ones. They didn't like my favorite of like Tim Dillon when he talked about the cruise ships. I mean, that was legendary.
Yes, of course. Yeah, the cruise ships. Love that. Cruise ships.
He absolutely sold me on cruise ships just being like just disgusting. Not like physically disgusting, but morally disgusting. ZNBQ mostly listens to music. The 1970s musical version of War of the Worlds. Interesting. Is that like just the audio drama? Ha! Dr. Drokel. That's us. We are EonsOfBattle.
I get it. Is everyone working on models right now?
As they should be.
As they should be. Who? Little known YouTubers.
funny because it's true.
Well, it was insane. Like a few days ago, Goober dropped by.
He did, yeah.
That was wild.
Goobertown Hobbies.
That was
Yeah, the
wild.
Bob Ross of miniature painting. Yeah, we got Goobertown Hobbies showing up to our live stream. We had Minwinter comment on our videos.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did. Yeah, he was here for like 40 minutes a few days ago. It was insane. I could not even believe it. He knows the Cobra Mode miniatures as well.
Yeah, that's how we got our foot in the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was super sick. Yeah, and really, really cool. I think we should join random live streams.
Ah, that would be fun. We would just get buried though, because they'd all have more views.
Yeah. There's a lot of little people out there.
True.
There's especially on Instagram. That's my favorite thing.
So when's the collab with Squidmar? Squidmar is a phenomenal painter. I love his channel.
Ah, absolutely great.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, any collaboration is going to mostly depend on them, not us. Any opportunity is going to be like, we're going to be like, yep, we'll do it. But we got some stuff cooking that we hope can take off.
This next video is really wonderful. I really enjoy it.
I hope you guys just love
working
the
on
next
it.
video.
You guys ever watch the absolute madman that is Paper Cuts?
Paper Cuts. Is he a 40K-er? Or is he just a YouTuber? I don't think I've heard of this. Also, chat, what do you guys think of this look? Just pulled it out of my butt. Do you think this is a good look?
I think you're wearing a dress right now.
Because I think this is what I'm gonna do for all of their armor and weapons. Because I want it to go from black to white so that it's really, really striking. And since the Salamander's skin is almost white, I don't want the weapons like top color to be less than their skin. I think it looks okay. I think hopefully I'll learn through painting these guys. All right, sweet. It looks like that's what I will be doing for these guys. Because I physically can, and it looks fine.
Let's see. I think I've seen Paper Cuts before.
Every model is a lesson learned. Let's make our models happy models.
Yeah, I think that looks good.
Yeah.
I think my stream is really far behind.
Can you refresh?
Oh boy, am I. Do I have an ad?
Yeah, you watch that ad. Turn off ad blocker. Whatever it is, just click on it.
Whenever I watch him doing detailed work on terrain, there's so many points where I would stop and call it good, but he just keeps going.
That sounds about right. Yeah, terrain is kind of an interesting thing to work on, because you just can't take it to the same level you would paint a model at, and so you kind of have to like figure out these little tricks that are easy to do, but it will make it look good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of dry brushing, a lot of stippling, sponging. Oh no, I dropped my brush.
Oh no. How dare you do that?
Yeah, the painting gods are going to come after me.
Mm-hmm. I hate when that happens. It's very awkward.
I'm going to have to go to painting confession and say I dropped my brush. Tell me your painting sins, my child. And then they're like, all right, well, you'll have to paint 10 Space Marines, 3 Orcs, and an Eldar as penance.
Yeah. Okay, Father, I will do that.
Forgive me, Paint Father, for I have sinned. It's been exactly 10 minutes since my last confession.
Stop dropping the damn brush. Jesus Christ. And baptize your children in yellow oil.
Yeah, train modelers are crazy. They get after it.
They do. Tom also did that.
Yeah.
Theater guy and had an insane model railroad set up. I always thought that he wore the conductor hat every time he went down there. I mean, you have to, right?
Yeah, of course. Fudging scale is something wargaming and RPGs can do pretty easily. Railroad modelers would rather you commit mass murder than have something out of scale.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Man, the thing about scale, which is really interesting in 40K, is like the vehicles are in almost half scale, and the weapons are double scale. When you see a Space Marine holding a bolter, that bolter is probably twice as big as it really is. And it's really trippy because they'll be like wearing a holster that's half the size of the gun.
Yeah.
And it works because it reads better on the model. for just to have hilariously huge swords and things. But it's really interesting. It's part of the aesthetic of 40K. And like flyers. Flyers are like a third the size they would be.
Yes.
Good old heroic scale 28s.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Good old heroic scale. What does heroic scale mean? It means mind your business. It means shut up. We do it because it's cool. I love the new Primaris are supposedly true scale Marines, and they mostly are, but they still have dainty little waists, like regular Marines.
Well, every single one of them.
Yeah, regular Marines have hilarious legs, just legs that are in all sorts of wonky proportions. And the Primaris mostly fix that, but they have the most delicate little waists. They have like a 60 chest, 20 waist. It's crazy.
I mean, it's all like keto.
Yeah, it's super keto. So if Primaris could move in just a little bit of a better direction, because whenever you see the art, they always, their chests are always kind of barrel shaped. Because that's kind of what it would be if you're wearing big heavy armor. But the actual models have very, very thin, slender waists.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really bad on the Bandai. They're making Bandai toys of 40K.
Oh, I saw
and
those.
they've just taken their digital file for Primaris Space Marines and blown it up. And so the scaling is still off. The gun is hilariously big. The waist is super, super skinny. The armor wants to clip when you start to pose it. It's an interesting decision on the toy designers.
Have you seen Leave No Model Uncovered?
No uncovered. I don't know. That doesn't even sound familiar.
I'm not sure what it is either. Just found out the other day. Fantastic dude. Let's see.
Crossing the Rubicon Primaris before Primaris was a thing. Unconverted. Yeah, I love the look of Primaris Space Marines, but my one little complaint would be their dainty waists. And so I actually, the Primaris kit comes with a lot of pouches and ammunition holders, and so I actually put all of that on just to help bulk up their waists. And I collect Black Templar, so it kind of looks the part to have pouches, get a little more brown on the models.
I mean, the Emperor has a pretty dainty waist these days.
He's like a size 16. More, he's like a size 3. Just skin and bones. Almost literally skin and bones. Alright, gang, I'm gonna scoot one more time. I'll be right back.
Ooh. I think he's gonna go try to find those Necron models again. Because he was so upset that he didn't find them before. I mean, that makes sense to me. I see where they are at his house right now. I'm pretty sure I know exactly where they are. It's quite the setup. Every time you have to film a video, it's always switching around all the lights, everything around that table, and then dismantling the streaming arm that holds his phone. So, you know, it kind of makes sense that some things get lost just a little bit. Oh boy.
I'm back.
Hello.
And gang, I have a question for y'all, because you obviously watch 40k content. Does anyone here watch battle reports of anything? Kill Team, 40k, Legion. Does anybody watch battle reports?
I hear them typing.
ZNBQ.
I watch a bunch of Kill Team.
Interesting.
Yeah, Kill Team.
So when you watch a battle report, do you find you're able to, like, understand what's happening, or are they entertaining? Because when I watch a battle report, really, most of the time, I watch the beginning, and then I just skip around, and then I watch the end. Because I just can't really focus on what's going on. It's so hard if you're not the person, like, making decisions and looking at the game. Like, as soon as they start rolling dice, I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I'm lost.
Mm-hmm. I can find it entertaining, but it's definitely the people I enjoy watching.
Interesting. Yeah, I think the only time I've ever actually watched battle reports is probably mini wargaming. And that's mostly just the nostalgia. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just such big fans of them from back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a hard thing because the game is so much fun to play, but it's also so complicated. How can you be, like, you'd have to be a master to really be able to just watch someone else go and understand what they're doing, the decisions they're making, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong.
Mm-hmm. Joey Flores. I watched a few. For a majority of them, I skip between scenes, and I don't know the rules well. Yeah, makes sense.
It's more being invested in the emotional highs.
Being invested in the.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of people do battle reports, and like, I would say Striking Scorpion does an excellent job, because they do kind of like an end of turn recap, and so they just, like, flat out tell you what's happening. But, like, the mini wargaming style where you're seeing every dice roll, it's hard to follow.
What if you only saw the important dice rolls?
I think I'd rather just someone tell me
So you just,
what the important dice roll was and what happened. Because they'd have to explain, all right, so here's what's going on. I am going to shoot my Vindicator Assassin at Gazgul, and I get this and this and this, so I have to roll a 2-up, and I reroll 1s.
but what if Gazgul's the last model of the game?
Yeah, that's true.
Or something. Then it's probably a lot more
But
exciting.
how do you force those dramatic moments?
Oh,
Yeah, like what if
the
the most exciting thing that happens is like, oh, I was able to hold objective 2 on turn. I was able to hold objective 2 on turn 3.
Go me.
Yeah, play on tabletop is very, very good.
Yeah,
They do the
they're
best,
very good.
for sure. If
Cinematic beginnings.
cinematic beginnings very much. If we were to produce some Kill Team content, what kind of content do you think y'all would want? Would you want battle reports? Just like general chit chat, building and modeling kill teams? Those 3 things.
Those 3 things.
Because I think actual battle reports are probably the most difficult. And I don't know, do battle reports? I don't think people really. Do people love battle reports?
I think it depends on if you like the people or not.
I think that's exactly what it depends on. I just don't know if there's a perfect play on tabletop. Probably has the best possible way to make it somewhat accessible.
I've watched bat reps. I love watching and discussing the building and modeling of the teams.
Interesting. Yeah, because that's really doable. Some kit bashing, some converting, talking about why you're taking certain things, why you're not taking other things.
Yeah, with the small team, you can go crazy with the modeling aspect.
Yeah.
Very true.
I'm super
tabletop tactics.
Super happy with my kill team, which is just a bunch of Space Marines.
Okay.
Kit bashing rules. Yes, it does. Kilgore Void has to get ready for work. Are you a night shift person? Good night, I guess, Kilgore Void. Hopefully your work is sleep.
Good night. You get paid to sleep.
Maybe he works at like a sleep apnea center. He's gotta watch the fatties sleep. No, that's not true. A lot of people have sleep apnea. I just wanted to be rude for a second.
Yeah. Or maybe a different country?
Ah, that could be it.
That makes sense.
I like my thing better.
We all love a good being rude. It's one of Oprah's favorite things. Oprah loves being rude. And apparently so does Ellen.
Ah, Ellen.
But
Good old Ellen.
I think you're just allowed to be rude, though. I would prefer watching more narrative stories.
Yeah, that sounds like the ticket.
I feel like if you can, like, I love what is it, on tabletop? Is that what we were
so.
saying? They have like that narrative kind of little beginning, and they show those beautiful cuts, and they make it really cinematic. That, like, if that was the whole game, that would be amazing.
Yeah. In the deep dark lair of the four-armed emperor, the cultists prepare for war, and you kind of show the whole thing, all the back and forths, why this fight is happening.
Oh, hilarious! Something also can go super wrong with high production value battle reps. Like Wargamer Girl Miranda had super high quality value battle reps, but they took so long to make. Were they good though?
Wargaming Girl Miranda. That sounds familiar. What did she work with Mini Wargaming? I want to say at some point in time there was like a couple different content creators that were working together. Is Miranda Wargaming Girl?
Cobra Mode. Yes.
Cobra Mode, yes. Still painting them up. They're lovely. I'm just trying to get all the little details. Painting right now. I'm painting their weapons and armor. So you can see this is kind of what I'm going for, just black and white on all their little armor pieces. So yeah, they're basically done. You know, just another probably like, 50%, and then they'll be completely done.
I want to see some of these battle reports. Ah, yes, I see that.
Worm Hordes. You don't hear a lot about that these days. War Machine and Hordes. Is it still going strong? I feel like
these videos are from 2
I feel
years
like
ago.
for like a hot minute, War Machine and Hordes was like catching up to Games Workshop in like 2016, and then it just kind of fell off. But you know what? I probably don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe War Machine and Hordes is still like ultra popular.
Let's see.
You know what I wish was more popular? Malifaux. Malifaux looks sick. Unbelievably gorgeous models. Really interesting mechanics. I think you use a deck of cards as like part of like what you're doing. Malifaux looks sick.
I see what you mean by the high production value. A lot of cuts. They used the wrong camera for this.
Is it a lot of out of focus or like not a good depth of field?
They need a little open up that aperture, something.
Interesting.
Love a good DSLR. I'll have to watch some of these later. You can only get so much by not listening to what's going on. Also, it's a game. It's also a game I have no idea what it's about. But they have cuts where they're like, I would assume they're talking about the game or something. I don't know. But it's a lot of still. It looks like it's a lot of just like. We see the dice rolls. We see the movements. We see
the old
everything.
mini wargaming delight.
I want to. I want a top down. That's what I really want. A really nice top
Yeah,
down.
mini wargaming set the standard for like a decade. I don't think Weird has recovered from the commitment to the other side on Kickstarter. That didn't go anywhere. Interesting. XenoBQ, do you know anything about Malifaux? Do you know if it's a healthy game?
Choose the rules as shots of her.
Winter SEO is great.
Oh, damn it.
Winter SEO, I love their videos because it just feels like some guys playing the game. Like, the armies aren't perfect. Sometimes they're not even, like, completely finished being painted. And they just go to town.
Hell yeah.
I love Winter SEO.
If you want to see some really bad battle reports from 2 versions ago.
Yeah! We have the worst ones in town.
2000, from the 2015.
Easily we have the worst ones. You know, no contest.
Yeah, if we're playing who sucks the most, it's us. They are... remember we looked at one of them? And it's just a crotch shot. Like, we're not even framed nicely.
Yep.
And then I'm cut out because I'm taller than you and Sean. It was so horrible.
Yeah, like no one could possibly look at, like, we couldn't try looking at what it looks like first. Just set up the camera so that it points at us and then hit record. Why wouldn't that be the perfect way to do it?
Yeah. It is always fun looking back.
CNBQ, is other side also Malifaux, or is it a different game? I know Malifaux is a little bit more like Victorian noir. You know, super unbelievably like gorgeous models. But 40k scale Malifaux with new factions, interesting. It sounds like maybe if they're trying to restart Malifaux, it sounds like it might not be in the greatest state of all time. But isn't Malifaux practically in 40k scale? I have a couple of Malifaux models, and they could get in there. They're a little small, but
I didn't know that you had. I didn't know
I
that
have
you had
two.
some.
They're harpies, and they're probably like if every single guardsman is Arnold Schwarzenegger, they're the size of like a regular person in 40k. But that's too bad. I love Malifaux. If someone like wanted to get in, I would totally hop in. But it's just you can't be into every game. Just can't do it.
Yeah, you have to have friends.
Two armies rather than a skirmish. I can see why they would want that. I can also see why that didn't work. I feel like, because part of the joy of Malifaux, I feel like, is that it's a little skirmish game, and like each side will have like just a tiny handful of very nice models.
But money, though.
Yeah, that's true.
They get all your
If
money.
people are only buying a tiny handful of models.
It's hard to get your money.
It's too bad though. Malifaux looks dope.
It does look dope.
Can't be into every game. Tell that to Ash Baker. Who is Ash Baker, ZNBQ? Is that a YouTuber? A noob tuber, if you will?
Ooh,
Love Call of Duty. Every single time a game would start, somebody would throw in the chat, "No noob tube," and then everyone would scream at him. Like, shut up! Guerrilla Miniature Games. Painting models slightly drunk would be interesting. No offense. Honestly, I have been drunk painting models, and it's the same. Like I think the fun thing about being drunk is like talking and chit chatting, because it loosens you up. But when you're like focusing on painting, it just refocuses you. So there's no real difference except you're a little bit more loose, which is not necessarily what you want for painting. Gaming drunk. Now there's an idea, but but painting drunk.
That is fun. That's I think if I could have a perfect day, it would be playing. It'd be, you have a few friends come over, you start playing. Maybe you start with some Kill Team, right? Just play maybe a game or two. You have some fun, right? Maybe you start drinking a little bit. Then you play a big game of 40K, right? And then that's when you really start drinking. And then you end the night with a little cigar or something.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be pretty nice.
So when is Ben and Sean coming over? Nah. Nothing better than a big ol' stogie.
Stogie.
Ash was a mini wargaming guy, but spun off to do his own thing. Is Ash Jay from Mini Wargaming? Way back in the day, there was a guy at Mini Wargaming called Jay. And I know he left. I don't know. I'm pretty well versed in the Mini Wargaming lore, and I don't remember a guy named Ash. I know Mini Wargamer Dan, Mini Wargamer Jay, Mini Wargamer Quirk. Love Quirk. I miss him dearly. He knew Jay. Okay, so he must have been real OG. Mini Wargamer Ash. You know what? That's starting to ring a bell. Mini Wargamer Ash. Starting to ring a bell. Man. Is there a good way to find the ancient Mini Wargaming YouTube videos? Because I miss them. Back in like 2013, 14. When they were just the little engine that could. I remember when Matthew at Mini Wargaming put out his open letter to Games Workshop, where he was just like, "Hey, you guys should have an online presence."
Yeah. Annoys me that they still don't have comments on the videos. Just chicken nuggets.
It would. I think they'd have to work through, like, if they opened up comments, though. I wonder if, like, some of the more like flaming angry people like would
100%.
And I wonder if they just don't want that. Because sometimes, you see an angry comment section and you're like, oh, the people who made the video must have done something wrong. It's like the people who went on IMDb and put in 30 pages of 1-star reviews for Star Wars Episode 7 just because they felt like people liked it too much. Ash is the guy that would catch the monsters in the little red and white balls. Okay, now I'm more confused. Is Ash like a hungry hippo? Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, no. He's talking about from Pokemon. Ash from Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for a second I'm like, what?
You got basically you just got
got.
That's what just happened.
I get got and got.
Yep.
I was confused for a second there. But yeah, oh, mini wargaming. Love them to death. I remember a few years ago, many years ago, Mini Wargaming put out a call asking to buy Black Templar armies. And I actually sent them a PDF with photos of my army. Because it was still small at that point. I didn't know if I loved it or not. And I thought, well, I could, if they're going to give me some cash, I might just, switch to chapters or try a different paint scheme or something. And they ended up not needing my army, but... Ash play has been played. 40k, Kill Team, Infinity, Malifaux, Space Hulk. This is not a test. Frostgrave, Warhammer Quest, Dracula's America. Ah, nice. Yeah, you just need a good group. That's really the thing. The only way you can get into games with people.
Yep. That's why I wish Games Workshop did like a pick your own battle box.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to play Necrons, but I wanted to play Orcs, then we could go in together.
Mm-hmm.
We get the rule book, and we would get little dice, whatever it is, instead of buying Necrons and Space Marines because you have to.
Yeah, Indominus is lovely as Indominus is. It's no good to someone who wants to play Tyranids or someone who wants to play Tau.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who wants to play Gene Stealer cults. Someone who wants to play knights.
Oh, yeah. Because how cool would that be? Then you'd have no excuse. You could pick the army that you want.
I remember...
Maybe make it a little cheaper.
I remember way back in 2015 walking into the Games Workshop and having the guy be like, hey, you want Dark Vengeance? No, that's okay. Yeah. I play Necrons. Cool. Do you want Dark Vengeance? No, that's okay. I just want a box of Canoptic. So, Dark Vengeance?
Yep. Gotta push that Dark Vengeance. And to this day, he's still doing that.
Wherever he is. Old Dave.
Old Dave.
He was kind of a dick.
He's gone. Yep. They finally have a good guy at the store.
Our local G-dubs. G to the dub.
Yeah, because it is quite the experience going to the store. Yeah. I would say. And you want the guy in charge to be pretty good at their job and not upsetting.
Yeah, you want as least douchey as possible.
Yes, I would say so.
I miss it. I miss going into the G-dubs and just hanging out for an afternoon. Chit-chatting with people, arguing about the Star Wars movies, why the new ones aren't that bad. Because they're not. They're really not. They're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine to great. 7 is a goddamn masterpiece. 8 is kind of bad. 9 is fine. Rey probably didn't need to be a Palpatine. But you know what? We also could have just not gotten Star Wars movies. And I don't think anyone would have preferred that.
I think you should have been saying spoiler alert.
Ah, yes. No, everyone who wanted to see it saw it. I know some people in my life who are like, who are Star Wars, who call themselves Star Wars fans, and were like, I chose not to see 9 because I heard it was bad. And I'm like, all right, you're not a Star Wars fan. Oh yeah, it was one of Joe's friends, the tallest one.
Yeah, the tallest
Saw him
one.
at the supermarket, and I was like, dude, 9, and he's like,
Oh,
not watching it.
Yeah.
Boycott.
Come on. Seven is good. 8 is horrible. 9 suffers from what 8 did. That's a pretty good description.
I definitely hear you, Dr. Drokel. 8 for me, it has some stuff that I like so much. I think 8 has some of the most interesting stuff in all of Star Wars. And I also know Star Wars. Some of the stuff I love about 8 is Luke Skywalker struggling with being like a hero. Because like Luke is in his mid-20s in Return of the Jedi. He saves the entire galaxy, and then he has to start the new Jedi Order, something he doesn't really know that much about. I totally get, I think, a little bit of what Rian Johnson was trying to do. And I also like the idea that, like, the good guys and the bad guys are both kind of facilitating the same thing, which is just war. But I think it says those things in a very messy way. I mean, Vice Admiral Holdo, with her bright pink hair. I don't know if we needed that. I love Rey and Kylo, though. I love Daisy and Adam Driver.
Rey and Kylo's pretty great.
Yeah, they're just so good. I love that Kylo is a villain who's not all powerful and not super cool. Because my whole thing, I love Star Wars, I love the Sith, I love the Jedi, but I actually don't think we've ever seen a good Sith. Because Sith are power hungry, but I feel like Sith are the weaker of the two. There's Jedi, and the reason Jedi are so powerful is because they kind of accept their place in the universe, and the Sith don't. They try to control everything. So I actually don't see Sith as these like black clothes wearing super powerful guys. I feel they're like scumbags. They're people who want lots and lots of power, and they don't want the responsibility associated with it. So, you know, as cool as like Darth Maul is, Darth Maul seems to just want, like, I don't know, generic power. He wants to sit on, you know, the throne, the Game of Thrones chair, and just rule the galaxy for a minute. Whereas Kylo Ren, he just kind of wants vague power and authority and control, and he's not in control himself. I think Kylo Ren is actually the most interesting bad guy we've got. So I love.
It's a hot take.
Yeah, I love what 9 did, or I love what 8 did, sort of. But I definitely have to say my movie going experience with 8 was I walked out of the theater being like, that sucked.
Yep, I remember that.
I like how Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and the Knights of the Old Republic went with the Sith. Interesting. I've never actually played Knights of the Old Republic. I didn't play a lot of games growing up, so I never really got those experiences. But yeah, if there's like a Sith kind of like what I'm talking about in there, I might have to check that out. I'll have to figure out how to actually play a game on a Mac, because you're not supposed to. Apple said so.
Yeah, Steve Jobs will come and spank
Yeah. Those are two masterpieces of the RPG genre. I think I watched Fox play. I watched a neighbor of mine play a lot of Knights of the Old Republic, and it looks neat. It's set in like a not quite as long ago in a galaxy far, far away, or longer. It's set well before the events of any of the movies. I think. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. But yeah, I remember when 7 came out. Cobra Mode, I don't play a lot of games. I'm sorry. I really don't. I've never had a gaming system. I only got a good computer like 4 years ago.
And
it can't play games because it's a stupid Mac. Going back to what you said, the Sith are also torn in themselves, those who have some sense of honor and strength, and the conniving, power-hungry ones who want power for power's sake. Much longer ago. Yes, that's what I thought, ZNBQ. Knights of the Old Republic has some cool Sith. I betcha it does. I betcha. Maybe one day I'll experience it, but yeah, I like
gotta get a good old fashioned dual boot.
The thing about like Darth Vader. Darth Vader is awesome, but he's kind of a lackey for Emperor Palpatine. And what is Emperor Palpatine? Just a guy who likes to wear dark clothes. He's an emo. And it's fine. It's fine for what the originals were, because the originals were all about good versus evil. And I appreciate that 8 tried a little and failed to be about a little bit more than just, am I going to be good or am I going to be bad? Also, if anyone wants to watch a good Rian Johnson movie, Knives Out is phenomenal. Knives Out is a masterpiece. So, he can make a movie, just not a Star Wars movie in a year and a half.
Knights of the Old Republic is on Mac and on phones now.
It is on Mac, but is it on Catalina? That's the real question. Because there are plenty of games for Mac, but none of them run on Catalina.
Question.
Most
true.
3D games don't run on Catalina because they're still in 32-bit.
Yeah, especially the old ones.
Yeah, old meaning like a few years ago.
Yeah.
Knives Out was awesome, Lucky Bat. Ian McDermott chewing up the ceiling as Palpatine again. Yeah, I think I'm not sure exactly why.
They should have.
Yeah, they should have planned them. That's really it. Is they should have planned it out. They should have said, "All right, we're going to take We're going to take 5 years. We're going to We're going to figure this out." They kind of didn't. Crap balls.
Nope. And that's how you get a very confusing story.
Yeah, because 7 is great. 7 is pretty typical Star Wars, and then 8 is not. Also, speaking of 8, look at how cool this shuriken is going. I'm digging this.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that's great.
For me though, I can look at them all separately, even though they don't fit perfectly into a coherent story. For me, Star Wars has always had a loose canon in general. Because just in my lifetime, I feel like I've gone through 3 different eras of Star Wars lore. There was, the post Return of the Jedi book series. Then there was like the pre episode 2 comic books. And then there was the pre episode 3 comic books. And now we have the retconning in the new timeline, which is the Rey Kylo timeline. And my favorite comic books growing up were they're called Star Wars Tales, which are non-canonical stories based in the Star Wars universe, and they're excellent. So for me, like, hard lore has never been important to me in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like a good story. And it doesn't matter if these events really happened or not, if they're compelling. In Star Wars Tales is one of those things that actually makes the prequel's kind of okay. There's a great story in Star Wars Tales about Mace Windu, about how Jedi aren't supposed to know their parents, and a bounty hunter tries to steal a Jedi child, and Mace Windu stops them and is like, "What are you doing? Are you selling Jedi children on the black market?" And she says, "No, I was hired by the parents to take the child back." And then Mace ends up bringing the child back to the parents and kind of having a moment where he's reflecting on, like, is this the right thing or not? And technically it never happened in Star Wars, but it's super cool. It's such a great story. Star Wars Tales are all online. You can read them tonight. They're excellent. And there's some really funny ones too, like one called Skippy the Jedi Droid. And you find out that the R2 that Luke Skywalker was going to buy before R2-D2, the one that exploded, that guy was a Jedi. Don't you want to read that?
Wow.
Dr. Drokel, yeah, there was probably some sort of a plan, and then Rian Johnson kind of wanted to do... I think if they had given Rian Johnson like 5 years, I think we would have gotten one of the best Star Wars movies ever made. But he didn't.
They had to crap out.
They had
real
to
quick.
Pump it out. No time to waste. The toys are already made.
Toys are already made.
We got to get Hasbro. We got to get Hasbro all the designs by February. So you have about a week to write it.
Yep.
Mace Windu, more like
Here
Mace
are the
Window. I get it, because he fell out of a window.
Wow.
Good one, Dr. Drokel.
You should change your name to Dr. Drokel. This just doesn't work.
But yeah, I think I'll always prefer more Star Wars to not more Star Wars. And people got really upset with the new movies, but like we've had bad Star Wars before. Anyone seen the Droids TV show? It's unwatchable. And everyone collectively forgot about it because it sucks. So but maybe I think these new movies are going to kind of become classics just by the people who love them. Kind of like how Clone Wars is beloved, but like not by everyone, because not everyone likes it. But you know, only the people who like it seek it out. That's Mr. Dr. Drokel, thank you. Oh my god, the holiday special. Anyone who can actually sit through the holiday special is a true Star Wars fan. It's so ungodly bad.
Did you watch the whole thing?
It's so bad.
Oh my god.
Like, there's at the end of it, Carrie Fisher is singing Star Wars, and she's like coked out of her mind. And they cut to Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill, and they both look pissed that they have to be there. And like the show starts with Chewbacca's family, and it's just like 10 minutes of like captioned Wookiee noises.
Yeah, you can't really do that.
Why? We gotta know what they're saying. Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
it's so bad. Yeah, we've dealt with bad Star Wars before, and we'll probably deal with it again. But you know what? We also got Mandalorian, which was unbelievably good. We got Han Solo. We got Rogue One. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit. Do
you think that they're gonna? Do you think that they're gonna make more movies?
Oh yeah, eventually they're gonna. I hope they give it to some weirdos.
Do you think they're waiting for? Do you think they're waiting for the crap to die down?
I think they are.
Before they.
I think they listened to the critics a little too hard for 9. And Solo did kind of poorly because they reshot the whole movie, so it ended up costing like $500 million. So I think they should give it to weirdos like Rian Johnson, who if they have a good script, can probably make some darn good content. when you know there was an edit done to Return of the Jedi where the original where you could see Carrie Fisher's coke nail that they digitally erased. Did they really digitally? I think I remember the scene because I have the old VHSs, the pre-digital versions, and I remember seeing the coke nail when she puts her hand on Harrison Ford's shoulder in the Lambda class shuttle, the shuttle Tiberius, when they're trying to get down to the forest moon of Endor. Nick knows the scene I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's pretty interesting. Look at coke now.
Yeah, it's allegedly Carrie Fisher had a coke problem.
Yeah.
It's alleged.
I mean, we do the same thing with your fingernails in our videos.
It's alleged by Carrie Fisher that she had a cocaine problem.
Yeah.
It's an old scene, sir, but it checks out. Star Wars is so good. I just like it.
I don't know, like is a weak word for what you... for how you feel about it, I feel like.
It was sad though. Like I was a big fan of the Star Wars scene on YouTube, and then the new movies came out and everyone had an opinion about them, and I had to stop because I'm like I don't want to feel sad because everyone hates stuff. Because before that, everyone was like, hey, let's do a deep dive on X-Wings this week, and now it's like, hey. You can't hyperspace ram. It destroys all of Star Wars. Why would a giant-ass ship going to light speed be dangerous? That makes no sense. This ruins Star Wars for me.
Yeah. But it gets so many views.
It does.
More than anything. More than really good content.
Yeah, if you just mention in a video that you don't love Army Painter, you get like a dozen comments.
Imagine using hate to get more views.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Abraham Lincoln said that.
Yeah, one of his most famous quotes.
Remember when little tiny Yoda was so wise? I do like Eckhart. He's pretty good at keeping it to a low growl on the new movies. Yeah, Army Painter is fine. My only problem with Army Painter is it's got a lot of medium in it, and so it doesn't behave like my other paints. Particularly like my GW or Vallejo. And they have a glossy finish.
Sure. Yeah. Some of them have a little gloss.
I own a bunch of them, though. I've used them.
That's how you know you don't like them.
Yeah, Dr. Drokel. I have no problem with the Space Ram. I think it's awesome. And it makes sense because, number one, it barely works. Like they space ram the first order fleet, and then they're on the planet like an hour later. It barely slows them down. And then number two, the Raddus, which is the ship that the rebels are flying in, is the biggest ship they've ever had in any of the movies. It's monstrously big, and so it kind of makes sense that like a ginormous ship going to light speed would be dangerous. Like an X-wing is not going to cause that kind of damage. Joy Flores, I don't think I've used the Army Painter washes. I've only used their basic colors. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be picking up more Army Painter paints, but I'll use up the ones I have, I'm sure.
I love the people on that video where they say like how to make army painter paints usable. And it's a whole bunch of extra steps.
Yeah,
And you have to like thin everything down incredibly, and you have to have a vortex mixer in order to be able to use them because they're so thick. It's like, what's the point? Just get Vallejo.
Yeah, Vallejo is perfect right out of the bottle. The lightspeed skipping at the start of 9 was horrible. It threw out the laws of lightspeed that Star Wars established. See, here's the question, though. What are the rules of lightspeed? Because I feel like the only thing we ever hear about lightspeed is Han Solo angrily telling Luke, lightspeed is really, really dangerous, and it takes time to do it. And I kind of like the idea of them just stupidly jumping from place to place, even though it's incredibly dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And Poe, they say Poe is a daring pilot, not the best pilot. I think in the opening credits of 7, they call him daring. So I can live with it. I think it's funny, and it made for a cool scene. So get owned, Dr. Drokel.
PhD, MD.
PhD, MD. DDS.
DDS.
Shields are also an interesting one. I always assumed a bigger ship would win. Like, if a bigger ship is fighting a smaller ship, the bigger ship will just win. And that's why the rebels always used, like, they would always cheat. Like, the X-Wings were too small to be taken out by the turbo lasers, and that's why they were able to blow up the Death Star. The snow speeders were too small to get blown up by the AT-ATs, and that's why they were able to work. And then in the last movie, they stole the Imperial ship so that they could sneak onto the planet to blow up the shield generator.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Drogo, lightspeed was expounded upon quite a bit in the original West End games RPGs that were approved by Lucas. I mean, I'm sure you're completely right, but I consider anything that wasn't in the movies like soft lore. And I know that's wrong, technically, but it's just how I see the Star Wars world. And so that's probably why certain things don't bother me that much. Because I'm wrong. But, like, it doesn't matter. Because everything was explained in a comic book or in a video game or in a novel. But was it? You know, I read the Darth Plagueis books, or the Darth Bane books, and they talk about, you know, the super Sith bomb. And, like, why didn't they just bring that to every fight? Probably just because one author thought it was really cool. In the game, Han Solo owed Jabba, like, a mortgage down payment on a nice house.
Wow. That's pretty great.
Everything gets explained somewhere, yes. I think a better option would have been a scene where BB-8 was missing, and it turns out that he turned off the shields to Snoke's ships, and Holdo caught that and took the shot. That would have been interesting, but there was no communication between Rayfin and BB-8 and the crew of the Raddus, and it was important for their mission to fail, because that was kind of the point, was like, they weren't going to win the day by doing what they would do in the old movies. They're gonna have to come up with new solutions. Dr. Drogo, I know, like, I'm wrong, But I'm just telling you, like, my experience with Star Wars is, like, the movies all exist together. The games exist outside of it. The comic books exist outside of it. The books exist outside of it. I forget the name of it, but I read a book where, like, a Sith training planet is taken over by a zombie virus. And it was great. But that's not going to inform me on things that happen in the movies, if that makes sense. Because, I mean, otherwise I feel like you could actually get kind of annoyed. Like, oh, how come Luke doesn't just use force jump? How come he has to run around? Why aren't all Jedi just doing lightsaber throw constantly? I think that was the Galaxy Gun. Yeah, they were in the Star Wars novels, they were doing nothing but building super weapons. Nothing but super weapons and cloning Palpatine. That's all they were ever doing. And then sometimes Luke would turn bad just to see what it was like. Also, one time he banged a spaceship.
Oh my god.
Luke was OP in the original novels.
Banged the spaceship?
He did. It had turned into one of his students at the time, though, so it was fine.
Oh my god. Oh. That's insane.
Who was it who said they didn't like talking politics? I feel like Star Wars is talking politics.
Yep.
Let me spin. Oh wait. I encourage everyone to check out Guerrilla Miniature Games Mag 28 and have a good night. I'm gonna write those down so I don't forget. Good night.
As well. It's been fun.
Z Nibiq, you've been very helpful. It was fun having you on stream. And Mag 28. Coolio. Have you watched Star Wars Scene 38 Reimagined? I have. It's unbelievably cool. In my mind, that is what happened in that scene. Nick, do you know what Scene 38 is?
I have no idea.
You know, in the very first Star Wars movie, Star Wars 77, when Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi meet, and they kind of have that slightly lame slap fight with their lightsabers. Somebody took that scene and they used deep fake digital technology and filming to reimagine that scene as two powerful Jedi fighting. And it goes on, and they fight in different parts of the Death Star. It's really, really cool. And you see, like, Darth Vader fighting kind of how you would imagine Darth Vader to fight. Like, he's very stiff but powerful. And Obi-Wan has to do a bunch of stuff to try to get one over on him. And then instead of Obi-Wan just kind of giving up, he actually takes a bad hit from Darth Vader. And so that's kind of what prompts him to surrender, sort of. As opposed to him just being like, oh, if I surrender right this second, something will happen that allows Luke to get away, kind of. It's gorgeous. It's very well done.
That was interesting.
Yeah. It is worth seeking out. Speaking of seeking out, I'm getting awfully tired. I think we'll go to 12:30. So 10 more minutes, you guys.
Well,
That's all I got left in me. But holy cow, look, I got a lot done. I got most of the weapons done. Yes, for sure. The reason the original fight looked kind of lame was, number one, it was a guy who couldn't see fighting Alec Guinness, who was very old. And they had lightsabers that had some sort of like a reflective metal that was important to get the lightsaber effect, but it was very fragile. There's a few scenes you can find on YouTube of like the lightsabers breaking during fights. And if you look at some of the behind the scenes features of the new movies, they actually tried a new thing where they actually used like light up lightsabers for the fight so that they had real light falling on the actors and the surrounding props. And that's why I think the fight in the snow in 7 is one of the most gorgeous lightsaber combats that has ever been featured in the movies.
It's gorgeous.
They're hitting trees and sparks. You can see the snow falling on the lightsaber blades.
Mm-hmm.
The lightsaber blades were actually camera lenses. Yes, the Graflex flash bulb. That is what all three of the lightsabers are. The Graflex is what Obi-Wan and Luke's lightsaber is made out of. I believe Darth Vader's lightsaber was a different piece of camera equipment. But yeah, for the first 3 movies, the way they would actually do the lightsabers is somebody had to carefully cut out the lightsaber out of the strip of film, and then they would double expose the film by shining light through the film. The light would go through the hole, and that is actually how they would make it look like it's glowing, because there's no such thing as digital when they were working on those movies.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to come up with a in-camera, essentially, way of making something glow, like, unnaturally.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Vader's was the MPP flash hider. That's probably right, Mr. Drokel.
Dr.
Yes, I got his
Drokel
name
to you?
wrong. Dr. Drokel. I think my favorite lightsabers, if I had to rank them, I would go, Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. Or no, Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from Empire Strikes Back, because it was slightly different than the A New Hope version. Then Ahsoka Tano's lightsabers from the later seasons of Clone Wars. And then in third place is probably Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber from the trilogy. I don't know about the jet engine parts. I know it was cobbled together from a grenade and a sync knob for sure, because I own a replica of it. I don't believe any parts were to a jet engine. The fins, I think, were actually part of the grenade because it was a rifle grenade. It was a grenade that you were meant to stick on the end of your rifle, and then when you fired a bullet, the build-up gas pressure would eject the grenade, and then the fins would stabilize the grenade in flight by allowing it to spin. Dr. Drokel.
Your knowledge for Star Wars is always at the top of your
It
mind.
is.
Think about everything else.
I know a thing or two about Star Wars. I am by no means an expert, though. Star Wars is so vast. Just now, everyone's complaining about my lack of gaming knowledge.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of games growing up.
You didn't play the game, so you're not a fan.
I'm not. I liked episode 8, so I'm not a real fan. And I didn't even like it that much. I just don't hate it. I think I sort of get what he was going for.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's all Disney's fault. Why would you give the middle movie of the most important franchise in history to some guy?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for sure you wouldn't
That is
turn
a
it down.
weird thing.
But holy cow, is that an ask?
No.
All right, guys, 3 minutes. If you want to throw up something in chat, you better do it now because there's a decent delay. If you want to throw something up there, get it in. Because I want to go to bed. Oh, I'm tired and I want to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Oh, I had a little drink about an hour ago and it's gone right to my head. Oh, it's too bad Kilgore's gone. He would have named it. It was Jaws, by the way. Mr. Drokel, there was a part from the Rolls-Royce Derwert Mark 8 jet engine. It's the emitter for the end-of-life zipper. Interesting. I know they used that part in the Cantina scene for some of the Cantina equipment, and they used it for IG-88's head. I didn't know that's what the emitter part was, though. Joey Flores, my favorite Star Wars character, will always be Jean-Luc Picard. And the episode where he found the Stargate and had to fight the Cyclones. The Cylons. Very good, Joey Flores. Lucky Bat signing off. Good night.
Good night.
Joey Flores collecting fighting the Cylons. Don't worry, I corrected it for you, Joey Flores. Zergalurga Ding Dong. Okay, so the last photo of my post for Reddit, I show the colors I used. Is there anything I can add to improve my work? If it's the Dreadnought I saw earlier, it was pretty sweet. What I might suggest is maybe sponging on a little bit of battle damage. If you take just a piece of general foam and stipple, you can get some pretty nice cracks and scratches and chip paint.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Joey Flores, will we get some pics of the fan when you're done with it? Absolutely. You'll probably see it on stream because they're not done yet. But they're getting there. They're really getting there.
And we'll take a bunch of pictures on Instagram if you follow us on there. I have an idea for what I want to do a bunch of videos with them. I don't know, on Instagram Reels.
And because it seems like we're shouting out our favorite Star Wars characters, I'm just going to put mine out there. Dexter Jetster, the four-armed fat guy who knows too much. Why would he know about the Camino Saber Dart? Why would he have that knowledge? Why would a greasy spoon diner alien know that? Joey Flores, good night. Everybody, good night.
Good night.
We are
everybody. Good night.
Signing off.